What is going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to a reaction video to Bleacher Report's fairly new article by Zach Buckley, and it is titled "The Best Trade Offer Every NBA Lottery Team Could Hear on Draft Night." So like always, I will leave a link to the article in the description below if you want to check it out yourself. Shout out to Zach Buckley for writing this article. So yeah, we'll have 14 different trades to talk about, and we'll see if any of them really make sense, or if the team would do it, or even think about it. So let's get into this. Yeah, we could just hop right in. So Minnesota Timberwolves, they would be trading away James Johnson, who would opt into his player option, and that is probably going to happen. It's like 90, that's 100% going to happen. Jarrett Culver, who was the 6th overall pick last year and the number 1 overall pick in the draft for Victor Oladipo and Aaron Holiday. If Victor Oladipo was under a 3-year deal and was on the contract basically he got in OKC or the end of his Orlando days, I would do this, maybe, yeah, because he was younger and he was locked up long term on a fairly good contract, and you get Aaron Holiday, who's pretty good as well, and he could bolster your bench, but I wouldn't trade the number 1 overall pick for this. Not a chance in the world. I don't think that's a good enough return for an expiring deal in Aaron Holiday, so I would decline this if I were Minnesota. And if I were Indiana, hell yeah, let's do that trade. So let's move on to the 2nd overall pick, which is the Golden State Warriors. So Mitchell Robinson, number 8 for number 2. I've heard a lot of people ask me how I feel about this trade. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't think LaMelo Ball is... I would so do this if I were Golden State. I would accept this immediately. You take Mitchell Robinson, solves your James Wiseman thing, and you get your center. And then you can take a wing or a guard at pick 8. If you like Killian Hayes, he might be there. Devin Vassell will probably be there. If you like Aaron Nesmith, he'll definitely be there at 8. Or maybe even Obi Toppin could be there at 8. Who knows? So I think I would so do this if I were Golden State. But if I were the Knicks, I wouldn't do this trade. I don't think it's really worth it to go after LaMelo Ball. I think you take Mitch, and then you keep Mitch, obviously, and then you take a Devin Vassell or a Cole Anthony or maybe a Killian Hayes if he falls to you at pick 8. So I would say yes if I were Golden State. I could do that. I'll say yes or no for the team with that pick. Moving on, so I wonder if that's going to be the Knicks trade as well, or it'll be something different. Charlotte, Buddy Hield for Nicholas Batum, opt-in, Malik Monk, and 32. Hell yeah, I would so do that trade if I were Charlotte. You're basically giving up Malik Monk in the final year of his contract, he had a good stint last year, and then he got suspended. 32, so basically the 2nd pick in the 2nd round, and Batum for Hield. I think that's a pretty horrible return. For Sacramento, I would say no if I were Sacramento. But if I were Charlotte, yeah, hell yeah. Let's definitely do that trade. 100%. So I wouldn't do the Minnesota trade for Oladipo, but I would definitely do the Golden State trade for Mitchell Robinson and this trade for Buddy Hield, because, hey, you could take LaMelo or Wiseman, or maybe Wiseman at 3 if maybe the Warriors don't take Wiseman. And then you could have Devontae Graham, Buddy Hield, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, and James Wiseman. That's so much fun. Yeah, I would so do that trade if I were Mitch Kupchak. And Michael Jordan. Moving over to Chicago, DeMar DeRozan opts in, and Patty Mills, so they're getting DeMar DeRozan and Patty Mills for Otto Porter, Chandler Hutchinson, and 44. Yeah, I don't mind that. They could be respectable next year, and then in 2021, when it's a good free agency class, they might be a destination. So I don't know. DeRozan will be a free agent then anyway, so they're not going to have to worry about that. But the Patty Mills contract, but they would be able to get off that. Honestly, I would think about that if I were Chicago. I think this makes them definitely better, but having LaVine and DeRozan on the wing, don't know if that could coexist offensively or defensively. You're giving up the 44th pick, not crazy value. Chandler Hutchinson, not looking at anything special, but honestly, I would think about this if I were Chicago, but it mainly relies on, can DeRozan actually make you better and be a floor or a ceiling raiser? Or is he going to stump the development of Larry Market, Kobe White, Zach LaVine in the 4th overall pick? That's what you don't want. But if DeRozan can be a leader for that locker room, because you do need a good vet. People thought he was going to be Thad Young. Really didn't work out all that well. They do have Billy Donovan there now, obviously. But yeah, I would think about this. I like the idea of Bleacher Report. I do, but because it's a low risk. You're giving up a 2nd round pick, Otto Porter, who might be gone, and Chandler Hutchinson, who really hasn't amounted much in the NBA for a 1 year of DeMar DeRozan, and you still have cap flexibility in 2021. I think I would possibly do that if I were Chicago. Yeah, definitely. Moving on to Cleveland, Kevin Love for Harrison Barnes. So Kevin Love basically going to Sacramento. Interesting. Harrison Barnes going to Cleveland. Jabari Parker, who opts in, and I don't know if he'll opt in. And the 35th pick, so the 5th overall pick in the 2nd round. For Cleveland, Barnes' contract isn't too bad. They do need a small forward. And then I guess they could take Toppin. I mean, I guess because Barnes has similar length than Kevin Love on their contracts, and you get a second-round pick. I would probably do this if I were Cleveland. And then maybe Sacramento, I would think about this as well, because then, I mean, you can move Bagley to the 5. You have Love at the 4. You still have Bogey. You technically might have Buddy Hield. Who knows? You have a draft pick at 12. That you could take Precious like Achua. You could take, I guess, a small forward. That could be Aaron Nesmith or Patrick Williams. And obviously you have Fox. So I would probably do this if I were Cleveland. I don't. It's tempting if I'm Sacramento, but you know what? Actually, I would probably do this for both teams. I actually don't mind that offer. Because at least Cleveland, they get a small forward, which is a position of need, an upgrade over Cedi Osman. They get the 35th overall pick, at least a high second for Kevin Love, and then Kings get a good veteran player to maybe help that team go to the playoffs in 2021. Atlanta at 6. Whoa, that's a big guy right there. So Hawks receive Bradley Beal. So you have Bradley Beal and Trae Young. That is one of the best offensive backcourts in the league, but that's also one of the worst defensive backcourts in the league. And Ish Smith. Washington receives John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, Kevin Huerter, Dedmon, and a 2021 first-round pick. So you're not giving up pick 6, so you could still draft maybe a power forward there, Toppin to replace John Collins, something like that. I would say yes if I was Washington. I think that would be a very silly trade to decline because there's a good chance Atlanta still might not even make the playoffs with Bradley Beal in 2021. Therefore, you could also have another lottery pick. So you could get a lottery pick, Hunter and Collins. I think I would do that. I think I would do that. And you get Kevin Huerter. I think I would do that for Bradley Beal. Now, the only question is Washington. Maybe they would think about this if they don't want to give John Collins the max and they don't think he's a max player. So they can get Beal. They can have Trae Young, and then before Trae Young's a restricted free agent, they could try to sign somebody in 2021 because I think they would be able to get cap space, even though they would have Capella and Bradley Beal under contract. But still, I think Bradley Beal, Trae Young, and Clint Capella with Cam Reddish and then whoever they draft at 6 could definitely be a playoff team. So you know what? I kind of like this trade for both teams. I do. Maybe I would ask for the 2022 OKC pick also, and then and then you could, well, Dwayne Dedmon probably has to be in there to make the money work, but maybe X for the OKC pick because that might have a better chance at being a good pick rather than this 2021 Hawks pick. But I kind of like this idea. I am a fan of it, not going to lie. I thought we were going to get some bad trades because I wasn't a fan of Oladipo for number 1. Why don't you just do Bradley Beal for number 1 or something like that? But I've liked most of these trades, honestly. I like this trade for for both teams in general. Like, I didn't like this for Minnesota, didn't like this for New York, didn't like this for Sacramento. I kind of like this for both teams. I like this for both teams, and I like this one for both teams. Moving on to Detroit, Derrick Rose for Melvin Frazier in 15. I like that for Detroit. I think getting the 15th overall pick for Derrick Rose, you should definitely hop on that. Maybe X for Wesley Iwundu instead of or Melvin Frazier. But I kind of like that. I like getting that return for Derrick Rose 100% because who knows? You might wait till the deadline. You trade him at one of the LA teams and you get a late first-round pick. Probably not worth it as much. So I would do this. Orlando, it's interesting because you have Markelle Fultz, and he could be a mentor to Markelle Fultz. He'll help out your offense. Could try to lead you in the playoffs again next year. But you lose the 15th overall pick when you could draft another guy. You're going to have 2 new rookies this year because Chuma Okeke's going to be a rookie and this 15th overall pick. But in a weak draft, but it's an expiring deal. I would do this if I was Detroit. It's close if I would do this for Orlando. I could see both sides trying to be conservative or just progressive here and trying to trade and going not all in, but like trying to be better, making the playoffs in 2021. But it's an expiring contract. He's older. You're giving up pick 15. There's pros and cons to this trade for Orlando. I think I would decline this if I were Orlando, but I could 100% see your reasoning if you wanted to accept this. Next up, we have my Knicks. Enes Kanter, Romeo Langford, 14 and 30 for Gibson and 8. So basically, this is a trade down for the Knicks. Boston gets Taj Gibson, who's probably an upgrade over Kanter. He's a veteran. He's a better rebounding and defensive center than Kanter. It's not like they need offensive talent at the 5 because they have Brown, Tatum, Kemba, Smart, Gordon Hayward. So I don't know if the Knicks would do this. Maybe the Knicks would want the 28th pick as well and get 3 first-round picks. So this would now allow the Knicks to have 3 first-round picks. They would have 14, 30, and I believe 28 or 27. I think 27. I don't think I would do this if I were the Knicks. I don't know if, I don't think if Romeo Langford and you're getting 30 is worth moving down 6 spots if you bring Enes Kanter back. I don't think the Knicks should do this. I think Boston, yeah, I would do this trade. I mean, you did take Romeo Langford at what, 14 last? No, 14 last year. Wow, they've had 14 2 years in a row. Looking kind of not great. I mean, he was all right in the games he played in, and he didn't play a lot of minutes this year. Obviously, he's behind Tatum, Smart, Hayward, Brown to give minutes anyway. So this would be good for. I mean, if the Knicks like Langford, maybe think about it. Yeah, maybe think about it. Not a crazy offer, not a bad offer either way for both teams, but don't know if I would do this if I were the Knicks. I mean, I don't know if I would do it if I were Boston either. Giving up 30 in Langford to move up 6 spots in a weak draft. I mean, if you like somebody at 8, and that could be maybe a Nneka Okongwu if he falls to 8. Yeah, that maybe would be something. Washington at 9, Steven Adams and 53 for Bryant, Robinson, Mo Wagner, and Ish Smith. Yeah, I'll do that. I mean, I wouldn't want to give up Mo Wagner. I think Adams, an expiring contract, I believe, would mainly be a salary dump. So I think if you give up like your second round pick, that could get it done. Or even just giving them Jerome Robinson, a young player, and Thomas Bryant would get this trade done. And honestly, OKC would fully embrace the rebuild. You trade Chris Paul, you do this trade. You're going to be bad next year, but you give Lou Dort, you give Shea, you give your first round pick that you have from Denver in this draft. You give Jerome Robinson minutes, you give Thomas Bryant minutes, you give Hamidou Diallo minutes, and you rebuild. You develop young talent, whoever the new head coach is going to be. So I actually like the trade for both teams. And for Washington, you're going to try to make the playoffs next year. You're paying $65 million a year to John Wall and Bradley Beal. You have the 9th pick. You have Rui Hachimura. You're going to probably bring back Bertans. I mean, this might push them up against the luxury tax or close to it. So would think about it. But I kind of like this trade for both teams. I am a fan. Shout out to, what's his name, Zach Buckley? No. Is it Zach Buckley? Yeah, he's come up with some very interesting trades. That I think I would do for both teams. Phoenix at 10, we have Jordan Poole, number 2 for Kelly Oubre at 10. I mean, you land LaMelo Ball. I mean, you maybe get Edwards, who you play at the 3. I mean, you basically do this for LaMelo Ball, which, would you do this trade? I mean, I don't think they would give you Eric Pascal. You probably got it. Like, the best you could probably get is Jordan Poole. I mean, I would do this if I were Golden State 100%, because you get Kelly Oubre, another good wing to put on the bench. You could use your Iggy trade exception to get him. And then pick 10. Hey, you could take a point guard there. You could take a wing there. You could take, I don't think Devin Vassell will fall past, I don't know if Devin Vassell will fall to 10, but hey, maybe him. You could take Aaron Nesmith, a shooter, and Kelly Oubre. I think that's a pretty good return in the draft. Or maybe Okongwu falls to 10. In a perfect world, I don't think he does. But I think I would do this if I were Golden State. I think I would. Phoenix. I mean, but also does Kelly Oubre have a role in this team with Clay, with Wiggins? Does he find, and maybe Anthony Edwards, or not Anthony Edwards? It would be Clay and Wiggins. Does he find minutes? Do you make him the 6th man? Do you make Wiggins the 6th man? So I would think about that. I would probably accept it if I were Golden State. Phoenix? Yeah, why not? San Antonio, Aaron Gordon, Alfred Camino, and 15 for... Oh my god, hell no! Hell to the no would I do this if I were Orlando. Why would you trade Gordon and 15 for an expiring deal? I feel like San Antonio would have to trade DeRozan and their pick to get Aaron Gordon. I would so do this if I were San Antonio. Oh my god, I'll literally drive DeMar DeRozan and Patty Mills from San Antonio to Orlando, from the South, from Texas to Florida, 100%. If I were Orlando, I would hang up the phone. John Hammond, forget the GM, Jeff Waltman, forget who it is, who the president / GM is. Would not accept that trade. No way. Sacramento, Oladipo and Turner coming your way for Buddy Hield, Bielitsa, and 12. Yeah, I would do that 100% because I think Turner and Bagley could be a fun backcourt maybe. Oladipo is similar to Hield, and you're losing Bielitsa in 12. That hurts, but at least you can try to go all in next year, and then you clear up some cap space to maybe overpay somebody in 2021. But I think getting Turner would be kind of huge for them. Yeah, I think Turner would be huge and better than anyone that you would get at 12. In Indiana, I wouldn't do this just because you're basically doing Oladipo for Hield swap, and then you're doing Turner for Bielitsa in 12, and I don't think I would pull the trigger on that. I mean, I would think about it, though. Still not a bad offer. 2 more to go. Pelicans trading away Drew Holiday for Gary Harris, Bol Bol, Keita Bates, and 22. I wouldn't do this if I were the Pelicans. He's basically your second best player because who knows how healthy Zion's going to be. I think he's underrated. I don't think Bobo's worth it or the 22nd pick. I would say no to this. I would definitely do this if I were Denver. You guys know I've been huge on Drew to Denver, but I don't think I would do this if I were New Orleans. And then finally, Memphis trading Romeo or Jonas Valanciunas for Langford Edwards and his Cantor Poirier in 26. Capitalizing on Valanciunas' value, yes, but you're Memphis, right? I wouldn't. I would do this if I were Boston. I wouldn't do this if I were Memphis. No. I mean, also, you probably want maybe a rim protecting center. If you're Boston, Valanciunas isn't the greatest defender in the world. I actually don't like this trade for either team because Memphis, Valanciunas is the best center you have, and you might have for the next couple of years. I mean, they don't have their first this year. Yeah, they have their first next year, but they might make the playoffs next year. I don't think I would do this for either team. So yeah, that is going to be it for me. I hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a like if you guys did enjoy the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of some of these trades, which ones you enjoyed, or let me know anything else to react to. Like always, thank you all for watching. I love you guys. Hope you guys are all good, and I'll see you guys next video.